We have the biggest quarterback battle for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish brewing. CJ Carr, Steve Angeli, Kenny Minchey, who's coming out on top? We had a prediction recently that made me beg the question, are we underrating the upside of Steve Angeli? Let's talk about it now. Ryan Roberts from A to Z Sports, breaking down everything Notre Dame football, spring practice, folks, and that means that we are amidst the biggest quarterback battle we have seen with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in quite a long time. Steve Angeli, Kenny Minchey, CJ Carr, everybody has their preference, everybody has their pick. Want to talk about, on a recent podcast, Always College Football, which of course is from Greg McElroy, famous college football analyst, former national champion for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and a pretty dang good analyst in my opinion, does a really good job. He made a prediction for the starting quarterback job, and a backing for Steve Angeli. And I want to read real quick. We'll drop the link in the description for this show. You can see the video of Greg McElroy, but I want to just kind of read briefly just a transcript from his excerpt on Steve Angeli and what he likes about him in this quarterback battle and the upside that he brings to the table. And here's that transcription now. McElroy said, "I've seen Steve Angeli thrust into action against a tenacious pass rush in Penn State and one of the best defenses in the country. I saw Steve Angeli go into the lineup and just methodically go right down the field, accurately carving up a defense. Who is to say that Steve Angeli's ceiling, when the lights are on, isn't outrageously high? We've seen him make one start and was a couple years ago. What if, when he fast forwards to this year, Steve Angeli has some awakening, and all of a sudden, he is the second coming of Joe Burrow? Remember now, Joe Burrow at Ohio State was just a guy. In his first year at LSU, he was just a guy. While Steve Angeli, up until this point in his career, solid, just a guy. Maybe there's another level in there we just don't know about, because when the game flipped in Joe Burrow's final season, when he got a chance to run an offense that was built for him, look what happens. Maybe that's in there for Steve Angeli." Obviously, some big words and a comparison that people are now going to kind of hyper-focus on a little bit for McElroy, but a very intriguing one. Now, obviously, I don't think that this is necessarily a prediction that Steve Angeli is going to end up being Joe Burrow. I don't think that McElroy, as the smart college football analyst, is predicting him to throw 60 touchdowns this year for a national championship team and go first overall in the 2026 NFL draft. I don't think that's necessarily what the prediction here is, but it is very interesting because it brings up an interesting conversation that we haven't had a ton of. When we think about CJ Carr, we think about Kenny Minchey. Those are usually the guys that we talk about as the high upside picks in the room at quarterback. When you talk about Steve Angeli, most people talk about the floor. They talk about the intangibles. They talk about he probably won't turn the ball over much. They probably will do what's there and not take a bunch of bad negatives. Like, he's the guy that is seen as safe in this quarterback spot. And I would like to just kind of beg the question here, because I don't know the answer to this one, honestly. Are we underrating the upside of what Steve Angeli can do with Notre Dame offense? On paper, he is a 6'2 plus, 210-pound quarterback with pretty good arm, live arm for the most part. Decent athlete. I know his pocket awareness needs a little bit of fine-tuning and development. But overall, there are some tools to work with. So I'm interested to see how the coaching staff sees this one in the end. If it is Steve Angeli, is it just about the floor, or is it more about a ceiling conversation that we haven't had as a collective? So folks, I want to hear from you. For me, I don't buy the upside bit as far as comparing him to the other two. Do I think that we have maybe undersold Steve as a talent based upon the fact that some of us have fallen a liking to CJ Carr, Kenny Minchey? I think that's possible. So I want to hear from you in the chat. Put it in the comment section right now. Are we underrating the upside of Steve Angeli? If Steve Angeli is the quarterback one for Notre Dame in 2025, what is Notre Dame's record? What type of stats is he putting up? I want to hear from you. How good can Steve Angeli be? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you next time. As always, go Irish.